but made the bet win. And the blinds are now going to go to 3 and 6 thousandths. It's an interesting matchup developing here, Steve. Tom Barkis seems to be the most technically sound at this game, but perhaps has the fewest number of moves. And it's really like, will the steady man win out? Will one of the unpredictable players come through?
Well, obviously, when you're watching at home, you like to see the players who have a little bit of imagination, a bit of flair, doing well. But there's many ways to play this game.
Pass. Call.
Well, these two have developed a relationship, Clayton on Nauenberg. They've tried to bluff at every opportunity, and here comes Jens seizing the initiative.
20,000 more.
Smelling fear, or rather weakness.
Pass.
Not fear, of course. He's starting to look more and more confident, and also more and more like Fraser from the American sitcom. I'm sure it's not meant as a derogatory term. He's got that air of superiority about him now that Fraser has on the programme.
6 now left.
It's the Kelsey Grammer smugness. But the way that Jens is playing, I don't think he's won a hand with the best hand yet. He must feel like if he picks up some cards, he's going to be dangerous, and he may well be.
But he certainly mixed his game up. Flat calling some decent hands, raising some others. I suppose, even though we've seen it, it'd be hard for the other players to really get a grip of his game. Pair of twos, what do you do in first betting position?
Raise.
You raise. And hope nobody calls. They're not good if somebody calls.
18,000 more.
This is a large raise here, 6 plus 18,000, and that has taken the pot. I don't believe that Andy wanted any action at all.
The trouble with the pair of twos, when you raise and somebody calls you, what cards don't you want to see on the flop? All of them.
Papa Giorgio has a surprising amount of chips when considering the fact that he did lose a very large pot to Tom Barkis earlier on. He's really kept himself in this game by his bobbing and weaving.
Pass.
Dave Clayton getting perhaps just a little bit anxious, perhaps a little bit frustrated with not getting any decent cards. He hasn't really, has he? He must be, you know, we look around the table, we're seeing all the cards, but the player only sees what he's given, and Dave Clayton really hasn't had much so far.
Raise.
Well, this is interesting. This has been a call on the button from Jens Nauenberg, and he's allowed Papa Giorgio to have the free flop with the 9 deuce.
It's just another slow play from Nuremberg.
Well, now that he's missed, you have to imagine he's going to bet.
So often has Nuremberg checked. He probably will bet now, will he? Now he's going to bet. He would have checked with an ace. He's going to bet with a king. No, he doesn't.
Check,
Oh, good.
check.
I'm pleased I got it wrong. I was starting to read him too well. I don't want to name that well.
Here comes the turn card. Papa Giorgio just basically drawing to a deuce at this point, although the bluff is possible.
Check. Both checked.
Nuremberg wants to check it down and see if his king's good enough. Will he be allowed to? It's worth a speculation, surely.
There's 15,000 in there. How big does the bet have to be to chase Nauenberg?
He's got to put in a size bet that
24,000.
looks like
Pass.
it's wanting to be called, or, well, perhaps not. That's a massive bet.
24,000 into 15,000 pot.
That showed trips, at least. Not too sure what that showed. I don't know. I really don't know enough about that, the psychology of what to put in. He probably could have put less in there, and it still would have been thrown away, obviously. But you then think, well, do you think, well, no, if I put less in, I might get called or raised, or I'll put a whacking great big in and hope for the best.
I think that's exactly what it was. Never send a hammer to do the job when a bulldozer can do the same job, I guess.
Till an army of JCBs comes over the hill. Okay, well, he's had some good hands, hasn't he, Jens Nuremberg? Raise? Yes, the big ones. Oh, this looks big.
Raise.
30. Doesn't want any action.
30,000 total.
That's
Pass.
5 times the big blind.
That is a big raise.
That's saying,
Pass.
I do not want anybody to call.
All in.
Oh, and
We
he's
raise
found a
all
hand
in
at
and a
last.
call.
Dave Clayton's found a hand, and it's a bigger one.
Please, gentlemen.
He has gotten called. He's gotten called instantly. And these two are not that far disparate in chips. Nauenberg has a few more. It is Clayton all in, but this one of those situations, Steve, where you wonder if the fact that Nauenberg raised so much before the flop meant that he couldn't get away from it when he got re-raised. And now he's in a desperate position.
Well, no change there, really. A couple of diamonds, but that's not to Nuremberg's favour. As Clayton's got a bigger one, should 2 more diamonds come on the next 2 cards, so he's really needing that queen still.
Yeah, that would be the key card for the German and the death knell for Dave Clayton. Just the river to come now. Anything but a lady. It's a big pot. This has gotten Dave Clayton right back in it. He's just gone from low stack to
Check that.
tournament favorite. Looking at that hand again. Ace King versus Ace Queen. Sucking wind was Nauenberg all the way through. The Queen never came, and by a pip and a prayer, Aces with a King takes down the Aces with the Queen.
That's a better hand, worthy of a raise.
Raise.
There we go, and it will count out. Not big. Feeler.
10,000 more. 16 total.
Hard
Pass.
look from Nauenberg. He wants to stop Clayton, but doesn't have the bullets to do it.
16 total.
Called with the 8s, hoping... Did he say call?
He did.
Hoping to hit a set of 8s.
Pass.
Genuine reason for doing this is a great chance if he does hit an 8 that it's very disguised his hand, and nobody could put him on those. But if an 8 doesn't come out, then you would expect Barkas to be throwing these cards away should he meet any resistance. I think the great line by TJ Cloutier is no set, no bet.
And Clayton
Check.
has hit exactly that, 1 set. And
20,000.
oh, he'd love to see some action here.
Clayton's representing a bluff. Clayton is representing a big bet bluff. If he had a big hand,
Call.
perhaps he would have checked. That's the thinking by Barkas. Barkas has been sucked in. Now, can Clayton reel him in like a big American fish?
Barkas looking for the snowman on the turn.
Oh, blimey, you can't believe it. And he checks, and
Check.
now
Both checks.
Fisherman has turned
Wow, and
fish.
Clayton checked as well.
Fisherman has turned fish. What a lineup. What a board, though. The board is so scary. He's got a full house.
50,000.
Can all those clubs mean that Clayton can get away from this?
He has.
Pass.
Well, that's a miracle, isn't it? He was lucky in the end, really, wasn't he?
It was a magnificent check on 4th Street, wasn't it? Clayton, that
Well-
8 of clubs, I guess he reckoned that there was really no hand that Barkas could have had that didn't hit. The flush came, the straight came, and Barkas,
What a lucky board for Clayton.
I'll say.
What a lucky board. But unlucky as well, I suppose.
And Nauenberg in a situation where if he lets
Pass.
this go, he's going to have to pay about a quarter of his stack to the big blind, but Smart to